Nice to have you in the studio, Oluwaseun.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah. So we want to talk about the appointment of Aishah Ahmad as deputy CBN governor, and there's been a lot of criticism and agitations around our appointment. What really do you think of all the brouhahas around?
Well, I've read a lot online. So many discussions, so many arguments, so many counter-arguments. But basically, giving a background to that, it just shows how divided we are as a country, as Nigerians. You hear so many political comments, you hear so many people make religious comments, ethnic comments, comments based on gender biasness and the likes. But looking at it critically, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's an appointment that is more of a round peg in a round hole. Looking at Aishah Ahmad, looking at her profile right from when she started schooling, a graduate of accounting, University of Abuja, went to the University of Lagos, had an MBA, went to the Cranfield School of Finance and Management. She has an MSc there. And overall, she's a CFA charter holder. Now looking at the CFA charter qualification, presently we have less than 1,000 Nigerians that have that qualification. Now it's a prestigious qualification, and for her to be amongst the less than 1,000, it shows she has something upstairs, she has something to offer. Now, bringing it down to our mainstream, she's coming to replace Dr. Sarah Ladi. So where I see the argument go, or where I see more of the argument should be, okay, Sarah Ladi is in charge of economic policy, and she's a core economist, and Aishah Ahmad, coming from the banking sector, head consumer banking, Diamond Bank, will she be able to fit in? Will she be able to step in? Well, looking at it critically, the CBN Act does not specifically specify or stipulate in any area that the position should be held by an economist or a banker. It's left open. It just states a person of qualitative financial experience in which Aishah Ahmed fits into that role. And looking at it, she won't be taking policies alone. It's like a large department. We have economists in the department. We have special advisors. So looking at it critically, I don't see anything wrong in that.
So do you really think that Aishah Ahmed now coming in to fit into that space that Sarah occupied, do you think she can really assume that office?
Well, talking of experience, it's sort of relative. Yeah, Sarah Ladi grew through the ranks, she grew through the system, and to say she's a finite professional put in that space. Also, looking at Aishah Ahmed, we won't be able to quantify them. I can't quantify them side by side, but looking at Aishah Ahmed and her profile, I think she should be able to fit in. Might not be perfect, might not be, there might be some discrepancies, but looking at her wealth of experience, this is a lead that has worked in Nal Bank, Nal Merchant Bank. She has worked in Zenith Bank. She has worked in Stanbic IBCC before she assumed position at Diamond Bank. So looking at it, in terms of experience, definitely she has what it takes. In terms of qualifications, she's a thoroughbred, to put it in that perspective. But where people are just kind of like clamoring, maybe economically she might not, but I don't see any problem with that, because looking at it, the economy is a holistic ball game, is a holistic crystal ball, and there are different aspects. You have the monetary policy side, you have the economic policy, you have financial stability, which I feel she will come in and fit in perfectly, coming from the banking sector. So looking at it, I don't see any. And overall, she's not taking how will I put it now? She's not taking decisions alone. It's going to be a decision that she will be taking in conjunction with other professionals on the board. So
but,
I don't see.
She's a banker, and the fear of some other people from other quarters is that, I mean, appointing bankers into principal offices in CBN might just be a leeway for banks and their big shots to manipulate policies in favor of, I mean, and if you really look at it critically and considering the kind of system that we are in, it's a legitimate argument.
Well, you can't really put it as a legitimate argument. Now, looking at it, personally, from my own experience of the CBN governors I grew up to know, I know Dr. Paul Uguma that assumed office in 1993. He was also a banker, a former Union Bank managing director, and a former United Bank for Africa managing director before he assumed office. He was a banker. We look at Joseph Sanusi, who was the CBN governor that took over Paul Uguma. He was also a banker, former CEO and MD for First Bank and UBA. Coming down also, you look at taking over from him, from Joseph Sanusi, we had Soludo. Soludo took over 2004. Soludo was a core economist. Sanusi Sanusi also was a banker, but by training was a core economist. He graduated from ABU Zaria University, having a degree in economics and Islamic law. And also looking at an Emefiele, the present governor now, he's also a banker. So looking at it, you can't really state, or you can't really stay clear, with all clarity, that being a banker and assuming the post of the CBN governor, you will influence decisions to favor your bank, or there's no leeway to that. It's left for subjectivity. But I don't see anything wrong in it. But coming from the banking system, I feel you are better off because you understand how the banking system works in the microscopic level, and coming into the CBN, you are taking it up at a macroscopic level. So I don't see I don't think there's going to be any sort of policy manipulation or favoritism, as quote and unquote, as stipulated by people, that the governors will favor their banks. I don't think such will happen. Okay.
Does appointment give any suggestion as to what the CBN strategy for economic reality is?
Well, it doesn't give any pointer, but basically we know currently the CBN has a straight policy of managing the currency or defending the naira at all expense. So you see a situation whereby the CBN comes in to intervene at different times at the NAFEX window and the NAFEX fixing, just to ensure that the naira is stable. So her coming on board, she also coming to add her own wealth of experience in conjunction with other members that have been appointed to assume office early January next year. So I don't think her coming on board will sort of like shift the goalposts or the body language of what the CBN is trying to achieve. Overall, the CBN has said the critical part of their own policy is to defend the naira and ensure a stable system. And looking at it, we are just coming out of recession. Her coming on board will add to the wealth of experience we need in that post.
What is the process or the procedure of appointing into the CBN, either as CBN governor or deputy governor? Okay,
going back to what I said, like the constituents of the MPC members, the president is to appoint based on his own considerations, which we might not be able to know or tell. But looking at, you said judicial appointment, the president can appoint, but is subject to the ratification of the Nigerian Judicial Council. Same also, this appointment is subject to the ratification of the National Assembly. Now, where the onus now lies is on the National Assembly not to take their normal stand of, okay, taking a bow and leaving. They have to, because they know these appointments are critical to the survival of the economy of Nigeria and to the country as a whole. So they have to take critical steps to scrutinize people that are coming as appointees, asking questions, squeezing them, not just letting them go on the surface, whether you are the top member or whether you are a former House of Assembly member. They have to, the onus lies on them to ensure proper scrutiny is done, to ensure that the right peg is actually fit into the right hole and they cross their T's and dot their I's. So looking at it, I feel, yeah, constitutionally, the president is right to appoint, but his appointment, we don't know the political consideration. He has different things he's going to look at. He has different advisors, and definitely he's not going to be the one that the suggestions might have been made by members of his inner house, and he's just to put it forward, and he's subject to the ratification of the house. So the house can say, no, you are not fit for this appointment, and the president had to appoint another person again. So it's not a straightforward pathway, as people assume. So it's still subject to the ratification of the House of Assembly.
Yeah, of course, people really think that, I mean, she's young. Do you think this might, in a way, affect the delivery of her duties?
Personally, I don't think it will. She was born 1976, I think October 26, yeah, which sums up to age 41. She's 41 years of age. So age has not, well, first of all, looking at it legally, the CBN Act does not stipulate what age or at what level you must attain, whether you must be an executive director or whether you must be attain a particular age before you can get appointed to the board. So I don't see age as a setback in any way. But looking at it, the age is more to her favor than to her disadvantage, because she will have the energy, she will have the time on her side to actually carry out her duties, unlike someone who is old and like all these professors that might not really have that sort of energy. We find out that even the constituents of the MPC, so members, most of the time you see the MPC sitting as a member of eight committee members rather than the full constituents of 12 members. So the old ones might not really have that time, that energy, but she being a young person, coming with fresh brain, with new inputs, not somebody who has been part of the CBN system, I think she's going to bring a sort of dynamic difference to the system when she comes on board. And I don't think age is an advantage for that kind of position than a disadvantage. if I had to look at it.
Let's move away a little bit from CBN and economic policy. Let's look at the appointment in relation to our age and how it speaks to the larger argument on, younger persons participating in the decision and leadership of the country. Do you think, is there any hope that the Buhari administration may be leaning towards making the government more youth inclined?
Well, I can't really say of certainty, but I can just state categorically here that yes, her coming on board is a pointer to the fact that the president is trying to infuse some sort of youthfulness into the system. But where I scored the president very high is, okay, a female is leaving or was leaving or is about to leave, which is Sarah Ladi, and another female is being replaced. So there's this consideration for gender balance in the system. Also, her being young is also a pointer to the fact that the president also wants to infuse some sort of youthfulness, because you look at all these CBN members or the MPC constituents, most of them are old, most of them are particularly over 45, 50, and now being someone of 41 years of age, well, I can't state directly because I don't really know the mind of the president, but I would say it's a right decision in the right decision in the right direction. So her coming on board, yeah, fine. It shows she has been hardworking for her to be noticed. She has had influence. Actually, I know of the fact that she was the chairperson of the Executive Council of the Women in Women in Business and Public Service, so the WIMBIS. So it shows she has really put herself in the limelight for her to be noticed by the president and to be appointed. So definitely it's more of hard work on her side that brought her there more than political considerations on one side. But I can't really state categorically whether this is a pointer by the president that's more youthful, this thing will be brought on board, or maybe there will be more gender. It's neither here nor there.
All right, let's just summarize the conversation. So holistically now, looking at the appointment and the whatever considerations that the government, the presidency must have made, and what we actually expect of Aishah Ahmed if she finally gets ratified by the Nigerian Senate. Expectations.
Well, personally, my own expectation, first of all, is looking at the economy as a whole. Now, we're just coming out of depression. I want to see policy formulation that actually hits at the right sectors of the economy. First of all, I'm not so comfortable with this multiplicity of exchange rates. I personally, for me, I want to see policies that really hit critical sectors of the economy. Like, I don't enjoy this multiplicity of exchange rates. You check the CBN website, you see 305, you see 315, the NAFEX is saying 365. I want to see convergence. Now, when the convergence will happen, we never can tell. Some people are saying they have to keep that rates in multifaceted levels because of economic considerations, but I want to see a holistic political framework of dealing or converging the currency to at least one currency where we won't have all this madness of exchange rates and the likes. No, the CBN is trying. We've seen a sort of narrowing the gap between the parallel market and the official rates, but at least more work needs to be done. Then also in the area of SMEs, a lot of businesses have died, a lot of businesses have gone underground due to the economic hardship we are just coming out from. I want to see policy directions aimed at critical sectors such as the agricultural sector, the real sector in the real sense of it, sectors that will engender economic growth. Sectors like the manufacturing sector, we want to see policy, we want to see several funds set aside and that targets and helps to grow those sectors. So by and large, I would be on the positive side and look out for the next MPC meeting after she has been ratified to see our policy statements and overall what direction we see the economy going. But for me as a person, I want to see I want to see the CBN more influencing the economy. Now, the CBN has tried in one sense, because looking at it in terms of monetary policy or in terms of monetary activities, they've really tried to steady the ship one way or the other, looking at the devaluation of the currency from June 2016 and the likes. So where work needs to be done is more on the fiscal side. That's the government's just going to borrow, putting us into more debt, and so I want to see how the policy will play out. But we need to hammer on the real sector in the economy. That will engender growth, that will lift us out of the unemployment situation which most of our youth find themselves presently, and will make the economy robust and running as it should be.